Recently, I got a comment stating that they weren't sure how to use Willow Super and felt that it wasn't very good. Now, of course, I helped them see how you can use it and why it is good, but it got me thinking, what are all the different ways you can actually use Willow Super? So with some brainstorming and help from my people in my Discord for some recording, I was able to get 69 different ways to use Willow Super. Now I'll be splitting this video into 3 sections. Section 1 is ways that I believe every Willow main or just plain anyone going to play Willow should know. Section 2 are some ways that I don't really hear people talk about but are/can be still pretty good. And Section 3 are some ways you can use her super to steal other people's super. I tried to get as many of these as I can in a real game, especially in Section 1, but for some of the others I didn't want to risk tanking the trophies to find the scenario to use it. Starting off with Section 1. Now one of the main reasons to use Willow Super is just plain and simple to get someone off of you. It's what makes her so good at dealing with assassins. If they jump on her or get too close to her, she just supers them, wastes their ammo, and commences her team to open a firing squad on them once they're released. Another very common way to use her super is to score a goal in Brawl Ball. It's so common in fact that you get to simply around 600 trophies and people are smart enough to play around your super so you don't force them to own goal. Well, they usually are smart enough, I should say. Not only is she good for scoring, but she's one of the best for defense because she can move people away from your goal and dismantle the attack. Or even better, if they shoot it in and there's no way someone can get to it and block it, then you can just go ahead and make them swap sides and boom, no more goal. Now die. If you're going to super an assassin so they don't krill you, you might as well get a team wipe with them while you're at it. Willow is also one of the best brawlers for 1v1 when the smoke is close because unless you have the longest gray portal in the world, you're just plain dead. Willow's super also guarantees a kill against opponents who are 7,200 or less health and don't have an immediate escape option. All you gotta do is put them right next to you, hit them either 2 or 3 times, and just go under the water and let the poison do its thing. Willow is also an amazing counter to hypercharged brawlers, because if they aren't too careful, they can have their whole game-winning button nullified by a little swamp monster. What's nice about Willow's super is that nothing stops it from connecting, not even invulnerability shields. So when a brawler is going to dash to get some damage to your safe, you can just super them and make them try again, buying some time for your team. She's also good in heists if you can super a high damage brawler like Colt to shred their safe, because not only will she do as much damage as the Colt has ammo, but she also will then have a free kill on them and get close to her next super. When you use Willow's super, a lot of people want to focus on you and krill you while you have your shields down. Well, they're up, but you know what I mean. So what you can do instead is use the Hex target as a meat shield and then krill them afterwards for a win-win situation. If there's someone who is on the hot zone, you can simply just force them off with Willow Super and then deal with them away from the hot zone. In Gem Grab, if the gem carrier is trying to get the final gems, you can super them and force them into your spawn/teammates and get their gems for free. Fang's super can't be cancelled by knockbacks, but it, and correct me if I'm wrong, every other non-spawner type of super gets cancelled by Willow Super. You've probably seen this around, but you can also make brawlers hit themselves. So after you're done using them against their team, you can go ahead and use them against themselves as well. Now for Section 2. If you watched my video talking about all the bugs I found with Willow, turns out there are plenty more and I did not get them all, so you can expect a part 2 in the future. You'll see that Colette can actually hit people who are controlled by Willow with her super. Not only that, but with her hypercharge as well. So this means you can super someone and put them in the way of the safe and Colette's hyper super, and she's guaranteed to get at least 2 supers off on the high safe, making for a 50% plus combo. Also guys, I think this might be the first ever recorded max range auto aim super because I went to hit the Chuck but hit the Nita instead. This next one is a little niche, but if anybody hits it in a real match, I would love to see it. You can post it in my Discord server, the link is in the description. Also, if you want to help me in a video or just want a place to chill/hang out, join the Discord. And if you want to see some more Willow content, go ahead and click subscribe, especially because I have an awesome 500 subscribers special for when we reach that. Now, back to the super methods. Since Primo can gadget people who are on Willow Super, you can super someone, have Primo gadget you, and have the other teammate pass you the ball to help you get to the goal faster if you're too far away. I just didn't have another person to show that here. So for some reason, Miko can't actually attack enemies when you mind control them, which is really annoying, but to make up for it, you can attack your teammates. But for real, what you can do with this is krill your teammates in bounty, and if you do it while controlling Miko, your team will collect the stars, so there's that. Now this is one of my favorite things to do. Let's say you just krilled their team with your super target, or they have a lot of gems, so what's the logical thing to do? Well, force them onto the train tracks like an old-timey villain, of course. Watch as they can do nothing but get run over. If somehow you end up facing another Willow in Brawl Ball and they try to score using your teammate, have no fear, for you can just super the Willow and return and the ball won't go in. If you hex an enemy like Frank, it's going to be really hard to kill them when they get out of it since they'll be at full health. But you can go ahead and use the Colette bug to get some super damage on him while there's nothing he can do about it. Now I think this next one would work a lot better if you controlled someone like Bull, but again, if one of you get this, I'd love to see it. So what you can do is, since BB can hit mind controlled opponents, you can super an assassin and have BB knock them back into their team so that you can actually get close to them. This one is actually so much fun, I ended up making an entire video on it. But what you can do is super someone, put them into a corner that Sprout can trap them in, and then you're free to do whatever you want to them. What I did in that video was throw a hypercharged Nita Bear and Jessie turret at them and watch as they had no choice but to die. It was fun. In this new mode Paint Brawl, you want to make sure you curl someone in a spot that will get you the most amount of paint for the death. And Willow Super can help out with that by moving them to the most optimal spot. Let's say your opponent has more than 7,200 health, what you can do is basically guarantee the kill by putting them next to one of your teammates that are, say, a Bull or a Shelly. If you know that you're about to get supered by Willow, you can go ahead and super her back, so instead of putting your team into a 2v3, it'll just go into a regular old 2v2. If you can't guarantee a kill with your super, you can just go ahead and send someone to a corner of the map so they're useless until they get back, and a lot of time it's just a free goal. Since BB and Mortis can hit people who are mind controlled, you can help them charge their super or hypercharge by feeding them a free meal. With the modifier making healing even better, it would be nice to get some of that for yourself, so why don't you just go ahead and do that and give your team some very good ice cream. Sorry, I'll admit, that was a little cringe. I hate teamers in Showdown, and is mainly the reason why I stopped playing Willow in there once I got too high of trophies. But you can go ahead and force them to betray each other with Willow's super. Also, my friend said he wanted to get this clip, so that's why it looks a little different. It can be annoying when Amber places her super down and now you have to avoid that area of the map, so you can just go ahead and take control of her and make her burn into the ground so your team is free to step on through. Now you can't actually use someone's gadget if they have it activated, but you can go ahead and waste it if they activate it, so that's something. You can also make that rich bank take damage from his own super by hexing him, making it easier to krill him when he's out of your control. I'm sure we've all played with a teammate that is either dumb, bad, or both. So using the Miko glitch and 5v5 knockout, we can go ahead and make them useful by just turning them into a buff for the whole team. On to section 3. Before you go and steal a Nita Bear, I would recommend not doing this in Bounty or Wipeout, because if the bear krills Nita or one of her teammates, they get the stars or the krill counter towards the objective. This goes the same for any spawners you steal that deal damage. In Knockout, if Jessie is the last one left and you steal her super, it is essentially a guaranteed win. For some reason, she can't actually krill her turret and can only heal it. Now, I didn't test it with the other star power, and in editing, I'm assuming she can krill it if she doesn't have the healing star power on, but they usually only run it in heist, so if you steal it in Knockout, the Jessie is forced to die from her own pet and can't do anything about it. You can steal Lola's clone, and it will attack in the same direction as her and do damage as if it was on your team, and it'll actually heal you and your teammates if she's running sealed with a kiss. Now, Lola can just krill it, but that means that she both had her super wasted and had to waste time krilling it. Pam's turret will heal your team and do damage to the other team if Pam is running Mama's Squeeze, but the gadget will heal the enemy team and not your team, interestingly. You can steal 8-Bit's damage booster and get the buffs for it, and you will get the stars and bounty if you krill someone using his damage buff. But 8-Bit can still teleport to it, so be wary of that. Penny's turret follows the same rules of don't steal it in bounty related modes. If you steal Laurie, he'll hunt down the enemy team, including Larry. But if Larry has Protocol Protect, he'll end up damaging himself if he hurts Larry. Now what's interesting about Bo's mines is if you steal them, their team won't be able to see it, which makes sense, but Bo won't get damaged by his mines. In fact, nothing will happen to him unless he has Snare Bear on, in which case he gets stunned but not damaged. The rest of his team will get both damaged and stunned, and nothing will happen to your team if you get caught in the explosion. Most of the time when you steal Tick Head, he'll just end up exploding on the tick while you're controlling him, but sometimes the head trolls the tick and waits till he's vulnerable to explode, which can be hilarious to watch. If there's no one to super when you steal Tara's super, don't fret, because you can still get a little healing buddy to back you guys up. But when he's done healing you, he will go back to the enemy Tara, so you might not get him for long. You can give your team a buff with Rough Super, but if you want someone else besides you to have it, you have to make sure they get it before you, because it will go on to you if no one else gets it first. You can steal Eve's super, and the hatchlings will come out on your side as well. But if you're the Eve who just got your super stolen, don't worry. You can save yourself by making the heroic play to just sacrifice your one child to all the other 4 cannibal childs, and you'll be just fine. One combo that is really good and kinda only works if RT is not running the auto super gadget is forcing RT into his legs and then having your team just destroy his lower half while he can't do anything about it. But be careful, because if you attack with him, his legs will hit you. It can be obnoxious to get farmed by a Doug just comboing super over and over again, so you can use his super or super him after he uses it to waste it, then put him out in the open and let your team deal with a useless Doug. Okay, listen guys, I didn't have enough people, but I'm sure you get the idea. If you want to help me make more quality of videos, then please join the Discord. I could use all the help I can get. If the enemy is running Charlie, you can just put one of them into a cocoon and run Charlie away while your team has a free goal. You can also go ahead and waste the Miko super, and while you can't control him for the full duration, he won't do damage to your team on landing and will actually hit his own team. You can make Kid jump on you and he will stay on you after your super ends, and while he can attack you, you can also attack him. Even better, you can poison him and then dive under the water and he'll stay on you getting damaged. If Bull is getting a little too close for comfort, just go ahead and send him away to deal with later. Or even better, maybe even catch a stray enemy. Barley's super basically just forces you off the hot zone for its duration, so it's pretty good to go ahead and give them a taste of their own medicine. If your team is low, you can just go ahead and use the enemy Poco to heal them, including yourself. Even if you can't get value out of it, just plain wasting someone's super is really good in of itself. I was able to waste this Daryl's super and score all in one, so he can't super onto my team after the goal. If you use a Carl super, it won't actually damage the enemy team or their safe, so it's best to just use his super to make him run away and force him to either take the time to get back into action or use a gadget. Both a win. Now I'd be amazed if anyone ever hits this, but if you do, I will gladly post it in short. Something you can do with Jackie is use her super to pull the enemy team together and then use Dinah's super to get max value out of it. You can combo M slow with something like Frank, who thrives off of slow enemies. Speaking of Frank, if you end up stealing his super and stunning the enemy team, I recommend just running him away afterwards, because your team should do fine themselves getting the free krills, and it'd be nice to not deal with the 15k health monster afterwards. Something really funny to do is forcing a Nani to super, and instead of just remote controlling it, he'll go ahead and do the slick back to follow it. Also, same as Bull, you can run Daryl away with his super and it's pretty effective. If you ever find a Gene with super in your guy's face trying to take space, you can use him to pull an enemy into your tank, and then that tank should be able to deal with Gene easily afterwards. No one likes getting marked by Bell, since it's almost impossible to get rid of, so I can't imagine they would like it if you do it to them with their own teammate. Now let's say you just defended a big push and now the Max is left with their super on your side. Well, you can go ahead and put that super to good use, scoring while their team is dead. You know how we sent Peep on a journey? Well, it works even better with Janet, basically just resetting her back to her side. Sandy is notorious for having one of the best supers, so if you know she's close to it, it wouldn't be the worst idea to let yourself get hit by her to charge it, and if you predict it right, just go ahead and take the super for your team. Ford can actually send his own teammates to the Shadow Realm if you steal his super, and they'll both be stuck there for the full 7 seconds, making it a fairly free goal for your team. Most of the time, your team would be better off with the enemy goal barriers being broken off, and Shelly does a pretty good job at that, so go ahead and use her to accomplish it. It works wonders. And finally, you can steal Mr. P's spawner and it will continually spawn porters, but once he charges another super, it will vanish, so it's a short-lived victory. Now before you click off this video, you should know that if you're going to steal a super, it will always go up unless you get the timing to aim it. So if you want to send someone to the Shadow Realm with Cord or pull someone with Gene, you have to make sure the enemy you want to pull or send is above said Cord or Gene. Now finally, make sure to make today a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.